Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. Today we've got the next 6 issues of the 66 Batmobile. We're actually not doing a great deal as far as I can see. We're working on a little bit of the rear subframe that we started last time. And we're putting in the floor pan and the seating floor pan. But we did get our free gift. So we have our Batmug looking just like that. So I'll be making a cup of coffee very shortly in that. But let's get into it. Let's get building.
Welcome to the workshop. Tools are ready to play. We're gonna build something great. Starting here today. Piece by piece we go now.
Right, we're going to kick off with issue 33. And just give you a quick flick through the magazine. And as you can see, we've got the other chassis leaf spring. And we're basically doing exactly the same thing we did last time by attaching that leaf spring with these little U-bolts and attaching our shock like we did before. So bringing over what we done last time, looking just like this, we're going to bring over our new leaf spring. Going to be placing that over the top of there like that, obviously making sure that they are matched up and make sure they are the correct way around. We have our plate looking just like that. We're going to place that over the top like so. And then we need an EM screw to hold that in place. And we are going into metal, so just dipping the end of that into a bit of oil. Just help that go all the way in. So switch my pH1 bit. Make sure that goes in and stays nice and solid like so. Now we're going to get our U-bolts looking just like that. And these are just going to go over the axle like so and poke through here. And we're going to do the same on this side as well. So we have the 4 points poking out like that with the 2 U-bolts over the axle like so. And what we need to do with those is we need to use these nuts and then get those secured on there. Just start them off by hand. With those 2. That's those 4 like that. Now, last time we got this little bat tool, a little bat, I guess, socket. I'm just going to use that to secure those in fully. And that's what that is looking like. And just going to finish off this first stage with our shock absorber and another EM screw. And we're just going to put the shock on there and use a screw to secure that to that plate. So that's in there like that. And that is all there's to do in that stage. So we'll move swiftly on to issue 34. And we're still working on this sub-assembly. But we will be attaching it to the rest of the car. And we have that at the end of this stage. Right, so these are the parts we got this time around. And we're going to kick off with these 2 brackets. Now they are marked with a left and a right, as you can hopefully see on there. So we do need to make sure we get them the correct way around. So we've got our left one going on here, and we've got a hole obviously in there. I'm just going to place that so it lines up like so. And then we're going to use an AJM screw to secure that through there. These are quite long screws, and they are going into the metal, so we are using a bit of oil again. Just going to start that off in there, get that lined up on here, and we get that all the way through so that it ends up in this side as well. And do the exact same thing for the right side, just like that. Now on the other end we have a couple of other brackets. Now I believe these are identical, and they don't appear to be marked left or right. And what we need to do is put that just over the end there, and we've got two U brackets, and we need to feed it through from this side, and that needs to go on there like so. So we have those two ends poking out. We have this little bracket, and with the narrower end facing the leaf spring, we're going to place that on there like so. So it goes on both of those prongs. Yeah, using the little nuts that have come with this and the wrench again, we're just going to get a couple of nuts on the ends of these points. And get that tightened up. So that's looking like that. We're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So we've got both of those like that. And then what we need to do now is get these two springs. They're going to go on the ends of these shock absorbers, like so. At this point, we're going to place it onto the vehicle. And to do that, we're going to line up these two shocks. You need to make sure that this goes this way around with the drive shaft facing that direction. So the springs will go up inside these shocks. In case it just get everything lining up. So got those springs in there. Just going to flip it over. Again, just want to be careful of the engine when having it this way up. Just a quick side note here. Obviously, I've already done the vehicle, but when putting these together, I suggest you put some masking tape on these just to hold the two shock parts together. They're not very tight together, and it'd be easy enough to just misalign one of these as you move the car around, and you'll lose your spring. I almost did. So I'm just going to put some masking tape on there, so as I move the car around, it's unlikely for it to happen again. So now we've got this all roughly lined up, we're going to put two EM screws in here and two in here. And you might want to support the chassis like this so you're not putting undue pressure on the engine. So we've got those two mounts in there. I'll make sure that these shocks are still in, and that the springs are still in there as well. Because they're one of those things that's going to fall out, I reckon, like so. Get these two rear sections lined up, and you need 2 more EM screws to hold those in place. You do want to get these nice and tight. So we now have that sub-assembly on the cart like that. Don't know how much those shocks will actually do, but we'll see when we've got a bit more weight on there. You can see the leaf springs are semi-working, which is good. But that is all there is to do in that stage. So we'll now move on to issue 35. And we've got some gears for the steering. So it looks like the steering box we're building up, and we're going to be attaching that to the vehicle as well. So we're starting off with a few gears. I want this piece first. Now I'm going to use a little bit of grease in this box. Now, obviously not going to be driving this around the dining room table, but it will just help when it comes to maneuvering the wheels around. Now, so you can use oil, but really with gears, you're going to want to use grease. Now I'll get a bit of grease on this worm gear as well. And that's going to sit in like so. And then we need to sandwich that together with this piece. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on the shaft there as well. And then we know that's all nicely lubricated up. That's going to go over the top of that shaft and sandwich all together like so. Now we need 2 AM screws to hold this all together. And you should be able to just turn that. And you can see, hopefully, that that output shaft is turning as well. Now, a couple of these ZM screws. And we need this little universal joint. That's going to sit in there. And we've got 2 screws to secure that from either side. One there and one just going in here. And then last thing we need to do for the box itself is put this shaft on. Now only will go in one way round, so it's the wider end that we need. And again, 2 ZM screws to go into that universal joint. Put that one in loosely first. That allows us to then line this one up and then do those up. We don't want these too tight because we do want this to be able to move and flex, as you can see, like that. I'm now going to be adding this to the car, and it's going to be going in this section just here. Now we're pointing that way down. We've got 2 mounting points just here, and that's how it's going to sit. We've got 2 AM screws to secure that in place. So one just there. I just flip it around. And then the other one's just going in here. So we've got the box in like so. And then using one final AM screw, we need to flip the car over. We need to get this steering arm, get that lined up, because obviously it is a square peg, so we need to make sure that goes into the square hole nicely, and just put our AM screw in like so. And that's all there is to do in that stage. And hopefully if we turn the driving shaft, we get movement of the steering wheels there. Perfect. And that's moving really freely with that grease in that box. So moving on to issue 36. And we've got the drive shaft to assemble. And we will be adding that into the vehicle as well. So here is our drive shaft parts. We have a ton of AP screws. And that does mean that pretty much all these parts are plastic. And we're going to start off by assembling universal joint. And again, like we did before, that's just going to sit in there. We've got 2 screws either side. In this case, they're AP screws. So just holding it like that. Start off that one, and then you'll find it much easier to then put this one in. And tighten that one up. Tighten that one up. And then we have that one like so. Then going to take the next part of the drive shaft, and it looks like it's a symmetrical one, so it shouldn't matter which way around we put it. We're going to place that over there, and again 2 more AP screws to hold that in place. And again, just going to put these in loosely at first and then tighten them once everything's lined up. So that's our drive shaft looking like so. And we need our center support bearing. That's just going to go on like so. And then we need our drive shaft that's in 2 parts. And we're going to take this piece first. That's just going to sit like so. And then we're going to sandwich the end of this with the other half of the drive shaft like that. And then we're going to join this together with 2 AP screws. I'm going to start off with this end. And then this end. And we're going to finish off this part with another universal joint. Again, just going to hold it in like so. Start one. Flip it around. Make sure that lines up. Tighten this one. And then tighten this one. That's how simple the universal joints go together. Now we're then going to be placing this in the car. And we'll just move those out of the way a moment. And we'll bring the car over. So you can hopefully see, hopefully on at least the top camera. So we've got our universal joint on the rear differential. We've got the universal joint on the end of the gearbox. And we're just going to be placing that between the 2. I'm going to start with this end. And using 2 AP screws, ensuring that center one is right around. Start that one. Line up the other side. And then get those screwed all the way in. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for the rear. Now this one, it's probably beneficial to turn the differential and the drive shaft and do them from the top and from the bottom. So one in there first, spin it over. Get it lined up. Get this one in fully. And then we can spin it over again and we can tighten this one up. And that is our differential or drive shaft all in. We're not securing this in place at the moment, so we're leaving that loose. But that is all there's to do in that stage. Right, so moving on to issue 37. This is the penultimate one of this build pack. Now, we've had obviously all those little bits at the moment, all those universal joints and things, tiny bits that we've had to put together. Check out what we've got this time. We have the floor pan. And we're basically just attaching that with lots and lots of CM screws. And that's all we're doing in this stage. But check this out. Huge chunk of metal. And as I said, it is metal. But really, really nice. Nicely painted. And obviously that's going to be added to that part of the vehicle. So we just bring the car over. We want to make sure that all our cables, etc., are out of the way because we don't want to trap anything. And this is just going to sit over the top like this. Again, just making sure that no cables like from the engine, etc., are trapped underneath that. So that's now sat in there like so. And we have 12 CM screws to put this in place. So 12 screws in total hold that in place. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that is all there's to do in that stage. And then the final stage is issue 38. And we've got the inner floor pan, so that's where the seats go. And more CM screws will hold that in place. And then we've got 2 AP screws to secure the drive shaft bearing. So that's going to sit just in here. Now that bit is plastic. Now we do want to make sure that this drive shaft bearing is going to sit in the right place. It does have a couple of indents there. So just going to flip it over before we secure that in place. In fact, let's just get that in place like so. So we know that's in place in the right area. So we'll flip that back over. we're going to secure this down with our CM screws. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them for this one. Right, just got the last couple going in here. 1 and 2. And then the very last thing we need to do is secure this bearing retainer. And that's just 2 AP screws. And that is all there is to do in that stage, and all there is to do in that build pack. Now, this is obviously our battery box is going to be sat under the seat there. We've got space for a power switch there as well. But that is looking really, really good. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button below and give us a massive thumbs up. Look at the size of this beast. This is absolutely ginormous. And it now weighs a lot more, adding that floor pan in that is complete solid metal. Also, we haven't done a great deal today. We've only built up that rear suspension, and we've put the steering box in, and we've put these floor pans in. But it's still really, really good. It's another step closer to a 66 Batmobile. I think even next month, I don't think there's a great deal to do. I think we're spending 3 issues just building a wheel. So not going to be a very exciting build pack next time around, but it will get us a step closer. If you want to see that or anything else that goes on in the workshop, please do remember to hit the subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when I release new videos, and you won't miss out on more installments of the Batmobile and whatever else I'm doing in the workshop. Until the next time, I'll see you around. Cheers!